Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Abuja launch of the State of the Global Islamic Economy Report 2020-2021. I'm your online host, Alia Mia. I'm a senior associate with Dinar Standard based in South Africa. For the first time this year, we are hosting hybrid and virtual events across the globe to mark the launch of the report. So today's events will highlight the findings from the report and have our panelists engage in some thought-provoking discussion around it.
Of the Global Islamic Economy Report 2020 Global Launch event here in Abuja, Nigeria. We already have amongst us our special guest here present. I can see the Royal Father of the day, His Royal Highness Najib Hussaini Adamu, Emir of Kazaure. We have here the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning, Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed. We have here the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu. I crave your indulgence that as I get the names of those present, we will acknowledge your presence here. We are expecting more of those that are coming to be with us here. The very, very important guests. For now, we will start with the opening prayer. And I'd like to invite Sabo Ibrahim from Dar al-Halal to come and dedicate this function to the Almighty Allah.
صلوا على النبي الكريم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد ربنا إنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا وحرنا وعبدنا وغائبنا وحاضرنا وطاعنا وآصنا اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد وارحم محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد دعواهم فيها سبحانك اللهم وتحيتهم فيها سلام وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Alhamdulillah. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the organizers of this beautiful occasion, led by the Chief Executive Officer of Halal Nigeria Limited, Muhammad Dikko Ladan. We also have in our midst Nasir Muazu Adamu, the Director, Halal Nigeria Limited, to give us a welcome address. Could we give him a round of applause, please?
Your Royal Highness, Honorable Ministers, Captain of the Industries, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this important and unique event. Unique in the sense that this is the first time this event is coming up in Nigeria. We are this morning presenting to you the 2020-2021 State of the Global Islamic Economy Report. Let me introduce our company, HRH Nigeria Limited. It is an advisory, consultancy, trade and investment company registered in Nigeria in August 2020, with the sole aim of promoting halal trade in Nigeria and between the Organization for Islamic Cooperation member countries. The initiative is to identify business opportunities for our clients by leveraging on our relationship between the public and private sector of the Nigerian economy. Our mission is to build a platform for Nigerian businesses to participate actively in the growth and development of the $2 trillion plus global halal industry. This we hope to achieve through our partnership with Dinar Standard. The collaboration between Halal Nigeria and Dinar Standard Dubai is expected to provide halal advisory services that are tailor-made and client-specific in areas of halal pharmaceuticals, agriculture, agro-allied businesses, halal fashion, halal finance, halal travels and lifestyle and investment. Once again, Your Royal Highness, Honorable Ministers, Captain of Industries, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Fourth Estate of the Rim, our friends, I would like to welcome you to the launching of the 2020-21 State of Global Islamic Economy Report on behalf of Nigeria and Dinar Standard. Thank you very much. Have a fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to invite our royal father of the day, His Royal Highness HRH Najib Hussaini Adamu, the Emir of Kazaure, who is going to give us the opening remarks as the chairman of the occasion.
The Honorable Minister of Finance, the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, other ministers represented, my brother, my friend, Lord Global Chairman, probably distinguished lady, I'm so happy to be here. I witnessed in 1974 traveling from Zaria to Kano. I saw something that has remained in my memory and from which I draw lessons every now and then. I was passing by the army barracks in Kazaure, and I noticed an average sized soldier being punished. He had been given a very huge lorry tire. All the rim, the tube, the tire, fully pumped with the maximum pressure. And he was holding the tire with his hands stretched up and one leg standing on one leg. Immediately that struck me. I realized that this poor soldier is really suffering. One, from lack of balance, standing on one leg, carrying a very huge burden of the tire, certainly a very, very risky business. And then it occurred to me that in whatever as human beings, we require balance. I can't see how a person can stand on one leg and hold that burden. We require balance for our lives to work well. We require balance to thrive. I'm saying this because today our economic life clearly to me one leg. We are sitting or we are standing or we are thriving or we are trying to thrive on one leg. And that's why we often hear of recession, depression, inflation, deflation, and so many other things and jargons that we hardly understand. If we are so creative to acquire balance in whatever we do, the time has come for us to look for that balance. That balance to me lies in Islamic economies. We have today in the world about 2 billion Muslims, which for all intents and purposes is a very huge market. And these 2.2 billion Muslims take Islam very seriously. So, if the Islamic economics will help provide that balance, it's time we look at the option of Islamic economics. After all, we are told that economics is all about choices. As it were today, we have very limited choices. We are accustomed to, we are tied to the monoculture, the capitalist economy. Islamic economy has nothing to do with worship. It has promotion, better, decent life. This because in our climate or in our environment, we tend to see things from the point of view of our other religious or ethnic diversities. When we should look at Islamic economy or Islamic economics as a viable option that we need to imbibe and take on to ensure that our lives are structured in a way that will better serve our purposes. It is therefore important that this event is coming at this time when this country and indeed the world is going through very turbulent economic times. Widening the economic scope is what we require, because over the years, the system we are accustomed to, which is purely man-made, has not served our purpose the way we require to be served. At the options and the benefits, tremendous as they are, that Islamic economies will provide to this country and the world. It is my pleasure to be part of this exercise and to urge us all to look at Islamic economics provided from the point of view of the benefits that accrue from it. At this point, Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you all and to ask you to objectively look at all the options of Islamic economics and do the right things and provide the necessary solutions to our economic development. I wish you also afford you of our readiness to be part of this effort and all this. Once again, thank you very much. Really appreciate go on here. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
of the day, His Royal Highness HRH Najib Hussaini Adamu, the Emir of Kazaure.
With difficulties that we've been experiencing, we will now switch to an online-only event. And I'd like to, so therefore, to start off, I'd like to invite Mr. Abdulla AlAwar
The Dubai
from the
Islamic
DIEDC
Development Center
to give us to address us.
The Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center, DIEDC, should be giving us the keynote address for this morning.
His Royal Highness Najib Hussaini Adamu, Emir of Kazaure, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Honorable Minister of Finance, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen in Abuja, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's my pleasure to join you today for the launch of the State of the Global Islamic Economy Report 2020-2021 in Nigeria and specifically in Abuja. We are very excited about the launch today, and I want to start by extending our thanks for His Royal Highness.
I feel very bad.
Who is the chairman of the event today, and also the city of Abuja,
that this or this.
Dar al-Halal.
Do you know what they're doing? Let me explain.
For hosting the launch in Abuja today. It is certainly an interesting year, I believe, for all of us around the globe. But I do believe also that the report that is being launched in Abuja today has come at the right time, where we have witnessed the challenges that 2020 has basically shown and brought onto the world. But nevertheless, as you all will see and witness through the report, we believe that the Islamic economy sectors are well positioned to help the recovery path in the post-COVID-19 era and beyond. I do believe personally that both the United Arab Emirates and Nigeria share a lot of common grounds, and as well can build upon the tremendous amount of history that exists in terms of trade and economics between Nigeria and the UAE. So when it comes to the Islamic economy, I'm certain that the potential will be realized between Nigeria and the UAE. However, the intention of the report obviously was to shed some light from a global scale in terms of what the Islamic economy sectors were faring and how they were faring, but more importantly, what are the opportunities that exist in the Islamic economy arena. So from our side, it's certainly good to see that Nigeria is indeed featured in the ranking and in the indicator of the global Islamic economy. We feel that Nigeria will play a very important role in the Islamic economy, and I am sure that our esteemed panelists today that will follow with a very interesting discussion as to how that can come to fruition and perhaps which particular sectors of the Islamic economy could prove to be the custodian of the recovery path post-COVID-19. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the audience, Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, Your Royal Highness Najib Adamu, again, I wanted to reiterate our thanks at the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center for this partnership. And I believe that 2021 and beyond will prove that the Islamic economy sectors will
the third round of Sukuk
going forward.
2020.
Thank you.
And they have
So maybe we just go straight on to the item on our agenda, which is goodwill messages. And I'd like to start with the Honorable Minister of Finance, Hajia Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed. I'm so sorry, I dropped the national planning.
Doctor.
Royal Father, the Emir of Kazaure, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, my brother, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have an uncle here, AlAwar Darba. Special recognition, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak early because I'm supposed to be in the Nigeria Economic Summit, so I'll run immediately, so apologies that I have to drop out. Nigeria, like most countries of the world, is facing very difficult times. And we continue to find options and look for options to run our economy in a manner that will enable us to grow on a sustainable basis, a growth that is inclusive, that is as much as possible, leaving no one behind. So over a period of time, we've taken a number of steps. One important step that we've taken is our membership of the Islamic Development Bank. Today, Nigeria is the 4th largest investor in the Islamic Development Bank, and we're therefore able to access financing and in some cases grants for some of our major capital projects. This membership of the Islamic Development Bank also gives us the opportunity to interact with the Organization of Islamic Community, and there's a lot of advantages in doing that. Back here at home, we've explored Islamic banking, so we have Jaiz Bank today, and now we have Taj Bank, but also Fidelity Bank, and a few others. Fidelity Bank has Islamic window facilities, and other banks are also considering that option. This is important because over time, the Islamic community has been excluded from financing opportunities because the Islamic community doesn't want to take in interest-bearing elements. So now there are options that are available. There's also the Ijara, which is another option for insurance that is Islamic compliant. More recently, the federal government of Nigeria has been issuing sukuk bonds. We've issued the third round of sukuk bond in 2020, and they have become extremely popular. We set out to raise 162 billion naira. We ended up realizing about 460 billion naira. So we have to pick and choose how we apply these funds. So it's an indication that there's a very large appetite, and there are domestic resources that are looking for investments that are right for the Islamic segment of our society. So we see the Islamic economy as an option that we have to vigorously pursue to encourage domestic investments in Nigeria. To also encourage the Islamic countries that will be looking for investment opportunities in a large economy like Nigeria that has very large deficit in infrastructure and in fact large deficit in development. So we do hope that with programs like this that we will heighten the awareness and encourage more people to get involved in the Islamic economy, to access Islamic financing, to acquire Ijara, to also invest in instruments like the sukuk. Going forward, we still hope to, in partnership with organizations like the Halal Nigeria Limited, create more instruments to further increase the variety. This year, I have had the opportunity to participate in 2 other events similar to this, because we are exploring the options and we want to expand the horizon for the Islamic community to be able to invest in the Islamic economy. I want to congratulate the organizers, HRH and the chairman, Abdulla, and the organizers of this event for the thought that has gone into this, and for opening up the space and educating people about the options that are available for investing in the Islamic economy. Again, I want to apologize because I actually have to leave and go back to the Nigeria Economic Summit, where I have a panel to join in a very short time. Thank you very much.
We have more people to give us their goodwill messages before we go on to the next item on our agenda. May I call on Engineer Suleiman Hussaini Adamu, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, to give us his goodwill message. Please don't tell us you are leaving too after the goodwill message.
Yes, Emir of Kazaure, representative of the Governor of the State, representatives of other honorable ministers, distinguished financial experts and delegates, my big brother, AlAwar and children, members of the press, chairman and staff, directors and staff of Dar al-Halal, other panelists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me say Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure to be here to attend this forum. For us that are not in the financial sector, it's important for us to learn a little bit more about how the money is made before we spend it. But most especially, I think I was so happy that the finance minister was here. She said all the things that need to be said on behalf of the government. So I can limit myself to maybe opportunities that may be available under the water resources sector. Way back in 2016, we created a roadmap for the water resources sector from 2016 to 2030. And one of the key things we identified was the need to look for alternative financing for some of our major projects. And it's interesting to know that in Nigeria today, especially in the field of irrigation, we have a potential of 3.14 million hectares, out of which only about 170 to 200,000 hectares has been developed formally. There's a huge amount of a huge opportunity in the rivers Niger and Benue valleys. Out of the 3.14 million hectares, 1.8 million hectares is within the Niger and Benue valleys. And recent, we've seen increased interest by commercial farmers and industrialists to invest into large-scale agriculture. But obviously finance is the major stumbling block. And I think I see from the synopsis that I've seen about this presentation today that there are huge opportunities within Islamic financing to be able to do it. So I hope that going forward an opportunity will arise where this kind of funding, this kind of window or windows under Islamic banking or Islamic financing can be leveraged to support some of these large-scale agricultural investments that we are looking for. Again, we have huge potential for hydropower. The country has a potential of about 12,000 megawatts, out of which today just barely about 2,000 megawatts has been exploited. Although we have a couple of proposals and studies going on under PPP arrangements for something in the region of 3,000–4,000 megawatts, there is still a lot that can be done. Again, these are opportunities that we think Islamic financing can also support, because these are purely halal-based ventures that are quite attractive or that may be comfortable for investors, especially practicing Muslims. So I look forward to a situation where Dar al-Halal will spearhead this kind of process here. I'm aware that already, indirectly, we're already involved in some agricultural activities in Gurara, and I hope to see that we expand this and take this to the next level. On this note, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity for me to speak and to wish you a very good day here as we listen to the presentations that are coming in due course. Thank you very much.
Minister of Water Resources, Alhaji Suleiman Adamu, for that beautiful goodwill message. I hope Dubai is watching and listening to us here in Nigeria. It's about time we link up with you so that we'll have the officer who is going to address us from Dubai. Dr. Abdulla? Okay, Dr. Rafiuddin is the one to address us from the Dubai end.
A very warm greeting from
so
Dubai.
You have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our audience online. Thank you very much for this gathering that we have, a very symbolic gathering in context of this growing global Islamic economy space. My name is Rafiuddin Shiko, the Managing Director of Dinar Standard, a US-based research and advisory firm who has been producing an annual report of state of the global Islamic economy for the past 8 years now, with the support of Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center. And I want to thank our dear colleague, His Excellency Abdulla AlAwar of the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center, who did share his thanks and gratitude to the Excellencies in Abuja for their kind words.
In regards to the report, I would like to begin with first sharing with you a video that summarizes the findings of the report.
Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon all of you. The 8th edition of the State of the Global Islamic Economy report estimates $2.02 trillion of Muslim consumer spending across halal food, pharma, cosmetics, travel, apparel, and media in 2019. Islamic finance assets, meanwhile, stood at $2.88 trillion.
In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the report forecasts an 8% drop in global Muslim spending in 2020, with the travel sector being hit the worst and halal food faring the best. Spending is forecasted to rebound and reach $2.3 trillion in 2024.
The report covers special features on Gen Z views in the Islamic economy, successful women entrepreneurs, and 7 tech case studies accelerating digital transformation in the new normal.
The report's country benchmarking tool, the GIE indicator, ranks the most developed Islamic economy ecosystems. Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Indonesia lead the rankings among the 81 countries covered this year.
Investments in the Islamic economy totaled $11.8 billion in 2019-20, a decline of 13% over the previous period. At 54%, over half of total investments were in halal products, while Islamic finance drew another 42%.
Amidst the pandemic, our analysis shows that the Islamic economy is thriving in uncertainty. The report has identified 33 key signals of opportunities. In the lifestyle sectors, travel, tech, and online entertainment are the key signals.
In Islamic finance, while the sector struggles to bring back its double-digit growth days, accelerate digital transformation, and social finance and ESG aspects are driving key opportunities. These key signals include tokenization of sukuk and Islamic social finance.
In 2019, the global trade of halal food, pharma, and cosmetics was estimated at $200 billion, and the key opportunities area include food security investments, agri and food tech, and healthy food.
Thank you very much. And now I'd like to share some key insights to build upon. So once again, thank you very much. And I begin in the name of God, the most merciful, the most beneficent. And I want to, on behalf of the 16 team members who produced this report, as well as supported by Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center in partnership with Salam Gateway, I'd like to thank with the bottom of our heart Dar al Halal Nigeria, Mr. Diko, Mr. Nasir and team who have partnered with us to bring this perspective to the various stakeholders in Nigeria. Nigeria today is certainly one of the leading economies in the OIC member countries or the Islamic economies, and we believe the sectors covered in this report will be of great benefit to Nigeria. I want to also acknowledge our global sponsors. As you can see, there are strategic partners who have supported this work and also provide their special perspectives. We have one of the leading Islamic banks from Malaysia, CIMB Islamic, and they share their views in the report as well. Ifanka, which is one of the leading halal certification bodies, private halal certification bodies worldwide, as well as our other partners, MDEC, UNHCR, Refinitiv, Dua Pharma, Linkaja, Crescent Wealth as well. As my colleague Alia in the beginning had mentioned, we are, alhamdulillah, launching this report in 12 countries worldwide. This is the 8th year, ladies and gentlemen, of this work. And this reflects the growing prominence of this work. It's an annual benchmark of the development of the Islamic economies and the projected opportunity areas. And we're excited to have this event, the first ever event related to our report in Nigeria this year. And we're excited to have share the insights with you. A little bit of a perspective on the methodology of the report. In its 8th year, we have built a very solid track record of global research work that Dinar Standard brings to the table. Our focused work on the global Islamic economies is factored into this research. We also have over 52 industry professionals that were interviewed across all sectors and geographies of the world. Refinitiv's Islamic financial data is leveraged. Thousands of stories were evaluated through the year, out of which over 450 are actually referenced in the report. And then our 12 years of Dinar Standard's global Islamic economy research and analysis is put into play. With that as a context, it's a 200+ page report that is made available to everyone in the world, again, with the support of Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center and our other partners, as you've seen. The report is structured into the following areas, just so you have the full picture. First of all, we give a global context about what do we mean by Islamic economy and what is covered in the scope of the report. Very top of mind on everyone's mind is the impact of COVID-19, which is covered. We talk about our country benchmarking, which is the Global Islamic Economy Indicator, and one of the most extensive work we've done so far on investments activity across these sectors is also covered in the report. We're also excited to share the important area of women entrepreneurship in the Islamic economy that's developing across the world, as well as the importance of the Generation Z, given the Islamic economies and OIC countries have some of the youngest demographic in the world, and their perspectives are fascinating this year in the report. The report then covers about 20 pages or so of each of the 7 sectors: food, Islamic finance, Muslim-friendly travel, modest fashion, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and Islamic themed media and recreation. Each of these 7 sectors has a detailed analysis in terms of 2019-20 developments, signals of opportunities that we see, and then strategic considerations for investors, governments, and businesses, as well as technology case studies, given the importance of digital transformation or digital transformation that's happening across all sectors, all facets of the economy worldwide. Before I get into some of the key findings and also contextualize it vis-a-vis how does Nigeria, where are the opportunities and where is Nigeria in this economy space covered, allow me to just share a quick definition, which is important to put forth because this is the basis of how we've scoped the sectors covered. The sectors that are covered in this report are based on the definition of those sectors whose core products and services are structurally affected by Islamic law. So as you can see, food, finance, even fashion as a clothing item, all of these sectors covered, the 7 sectors covered, the core products are affected by Islamic ethics and law. Versus, for example, if we looked at the furniture sector, the core product of furniture is not necessarily affected by Islamic law, and hence those other sectors are not covered. So this is the definition by which we have 7 sectors that are covered in this report. And collectively this year, we estimate that the global Muslim spending on the 6 real economy sectors of food, media, recreation, fashion, pharmaceutical, cosmetics, and Muslim-friendly travel was $2.02 trillion. This is the estimated spending by our estimated Muslim population worldwide of 1.9 billion as of 2019. In addition, 2.88 trillion of Islamic finance assets were estimated in 2019. Now, the big question that is on top of everyone's mind in this year's report is the impact of COVID-19. The report projects that the Islamic economy is forecasted to have a negative 8.8% impact or an 8% decrease in spending in 2020. However, we project that in 5 years, the aggregate growth will return to a positive 3.1%, reaching $2.4 trillion in consumer spending in these sectors that we covered, the real economy sectors we covered. Amongst the 6 real economy sectors, travel, an obvious one, has been hit the worst when we talk about 2020 estimates, with food faring the best relative to the 7 sectors. And then next, one of the things that, as I shared, we're excited to have in the report are the views of Generation Z, as well as perspectives across the world, in fact, of this very dynamic and fascinating generation that will shape not just the Islamic economy, but also the economy of the world moving forward in a dramatically different way. We're also very excited to share with you the entrepreneurs, the women entrepreneurs of the Islamic economy, again, from across the world, showing the dynamism and the development that the women in the Islamic economy are bringing. We've also highlighted technology case studies that highlight across these 7 sectors the developing role of technology in the different sectors. Now, as I mentioned, the report also has a country benchmarking component, which is the Global Islamic Economy Indicator, led by Malaysia. This year, Saudi Arabia moved up to number 2, followed by UAE, Indonesia, and Jordan as the top 5 and aggregate. And this year, we're excited to have Nigeria make it to the top 15 for the first time, and perhaps, and in fact, the first African country to make it to our ranking in the last 8 years. One thing to mention about this ranking is that the ranking is heavily weighted towards Islamic finance, followed by food, and then the other sectors. And this weighting is relative to the size of these sectors. So if a country does a lot well in Islamic finance, they make it to the aggregate ranking much easier. The other point is that the ranking is a show of a economy's developing ecosystem relative to the size of the economy. So that's why you see some of the smaller countries, if they have a strong ecosystem of Islamic economy across these 7 sectors, then they do move up the ranking. The next area, which is very exciting to report, is the impact of investments in the Islamic economy. And we reported this year $11.8 billion worth of investments. And the countries that are leading, and you can see Nigeria also being tracked as one of the top countries having investments in the related sectors. So the way we calculate the investment activity are sectors such as food, pharma, cosmetics, where there's intra-OIC or OIC related investment activity happening. And you can see Indonesia leading, Malaysia followed by UAE, and Nigeria not too far off at number 6. Finally, one of the key things our partners within Dinar Standard do is that not just share with you the developments of the past year and the analysis of the sizing, but also what are projected, where do we see opportunities going forward, especially amidst this pandemic that we are all facing and all economies are challenged by. We have identified 33 signals of opportunities in the report across food sector. For example, on food, we see a lot of the OIC countries or Islamic economies led by the need for strengthening food security are driving further investments within the domestic economies. And this creates a huge area of opportunity. Another area which links to also pharmaceutical and cosmetics as well as food is the supply chain global shift. So again, linked to food security, the supply chain disruptions caused by the pandemic. We're seeing a lot of countries looking for suppliers closer to home. So today, as you will see later on, the bigger suppliers of the halal products in the world are Brazil, Argentina, US, etc. And so a lot of the OIC countries are now looking for supply chain options much closer to home or at home. And these are some examples of these signals. And we've covered them across all of the other sectors. Let me now quickly switch to Nigeria in particular. I know we're going to have a very good panel discussion later on, and perhaps some food for thought for all of you as you evaluate how does Nigeria move up and bring in a stronger contribution to its economy through this multi-trillion-dollar global economy as we presented in the report. So as you can see from Nigeria's 13th placement of the indicator, Islamic finance is perhaps the strongest sector amongst all, and followed by fashion, where Nigeria is ranked number 33, and then the others in the 60s, and this is out of 81 countries. We remember about 5+ years ago when Indonesia, for example, was 10th or below 10th in the ranking, and they have made a significant effort led by the government at the national federal level. Now they've set up a body called KNEKS, and as you know, within UAE, they have set the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center has been leading the mandate to make Dubai the capital of the Islamic economy. We know Malaysia at a national level has had significant initiatives, and now even Saudi Arabia with Vision 2030 have put the Islamic economy at one of the priority areas. So we certainly see Nigeria, and this event is a testament. And again, my thanks to our partners, and I think it's a great time for various Nigerian stakeholders to come together and really bring the opportunity to life to contribute to Nigeria's economy. Here you see that in terms of Islamic finance, our estimate of $1.5 billion in assets in 2019 ranks at about 28th amongst all countries in the world in terms of Islamic finance assets. Even tourism, there are about 250,000, our estimate of Muslim tourists coming into Nigeria, which helps the tourism sector. And then domestically, we estimate the domestic halal economy is a significant one, perhaps one of the biggest in the world, which means various other halal product companies and entrepreneurs should be looking at Nigeria and coming to Nigeria and bringing investment into Nigeria. And I think this speaks to a significant part of the FDI opportunity that Nigeria presents when we talk about the halal economy. From an exports point of view, about $810 million, this is an error, about 300 some million dollars of halal products export is what Nigeria has today. And when you look at it in context of the global halal products trade today, which in 2019 covering food, pharma, cosmetics exports to OIC countries was $255 billion. And Nigeria today stands at $305 million, which is less than, you can see 0.12% of this opportunity. So we certainly feel there is a lot of room for Nigeria to grow and contribute. And we believe move the needle in terms of your GDP growth overall as well, when you look at the collective opportunity of food, pharma, cosmetics as alluded here. To conclude, I just wanted to share with all of you that we also have an interactive dashboard that is available through Salam Gateway. You can interact with and look at where Nigeria falls across each of the sectors and be able to interactively share. And this is being and publicly available. Anyone can access it. Brought to you by salamgateway.com. Finally, just pointing to you where you can all download the report. If you go to salamgateway.com, you can download the report. You can access this digital, the interactive dashboard from here as well. And we look forward to having you subscribe to Salam Gateway so that you can keep up with the latest news that is being covered by Salam Gateway of the global Islamic economy. With this, I would like to thank all of you and look forward to a very engaging and fruitful discussion in Abuja. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rafiuddin Shikov, the Chief Executive Officer of Dinar Standard, the main driver of this program. Thank you very much, Doctor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you have heard all the comprehensive details about this function for today, telling you about the state of the Global Islamic Economy. Limited is an advisory, consultancy, trade and investment company registered to promote halal trade in Nigeria and between the 56 OIC member states. The objective is to identify ethical business opportunities for clients in the public and private sector of the Nigerian economy. Now, we're getting set for the panel, and I have amongst us the panelists. But before then, I'd like to call, I think I should identify my colleague, Salisu Salina Inna. I don't know if he's left. Her goodwill address before we get our next guest.
Our royal father of the day, the Emir of Kazaure, and chairman of the occasion, HRH Najib Hussaini Adamu, my elder brothers in the house, the Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, Alhaji Garba Lawal, Alhaji Adam Ngurawa, and others here present. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to be here today to say Assalamu alaikum on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. I bring you the warm felicitations of the Honorable Minister who, due to exigencies of duties, could not make it to this occasion, but he said I should deliver his goodwill message. Ladies and gentlemen, I would want to first of all congratulate the organizers of this event, and Darul Haral, and the other partners from Dubai, yes, for organizing this very, very laudable program. This is the fourth of its kind in Nigeria, and we're very glad to identify with this. I would also like to observe that in the course of the presentation from Dubai, we saw that a lot of opportunities abound for Nigeria to actually penetrate the global Islamic market. And I'm particularly delighted to note that opportunities abound in the agri and agro-allied sectors. And for us in Nigeria, of course, we've been promoting in the agri sector the export of halal beef and small ruminants, which include sheep and goat, cashews, which also have a premium in the international market, Nigerian sesame is known to be one of the best also in the world, where we have both the white sesame and the black sesame, which is exported to the Gulf states. Then we have also the hibiscus and ginger. And the Nigerian hibiscus is also one of the best hibiscus that you can find. We export as far as Mexico. So I believe from what we have had today, which has been an eye-opener to us, a lot of opportunities abound, because from the agri presentation, I saw that Nigeria was number 60, which is very, very low in the ranking. So we hope that with this opportunity that Dar al-Halal is extending to the different sectors, and both public and private, that we should be able to move up to that, on that ranking, maybe to be in the first 10 or first 20 at most, but 60 is not good a number. So the agri sector, I can assure you, we are raising up to see how we can export a lot of products, especially not only to the Arab countries, but we also have the diaspora market in the Islamic world. And I believe that there's a lot of demand for Nigerian foods and Nigerian finished products. So we are going to seize this opportunity to continue. We are meeting today for the first time, but we are still going to continue the discussion with Dar al-Halal to see how we can actually get a lot of our entrepreneurs in the agri sector to penetrate those markets. So on this note, I wish each and every one of us a very fruitful deliberation during this course of discussions, as well as a wonderful afternoon. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Hajia Karima Baba. This is not the year to get everything you want. This is the year to appreciate everything that you have, despite the global challenges. I would like to call on the representative of His Excellency, the Governor of Gombe State, who is ably represented here by Architect Yakubu Yunusa, to come and give us his goodwill address.
Our Royal Father, the Emir of Kazaure, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, distinguished delegates. My name is Architect Yunusa Yakubu. I'm here to represent the Governor of Gombe State, Muhammad, who could not make it to this great occasion. However, he said his wishes to identify Dar al-Halal Nigeria Limited in their mission of promoting Islamic financing and Islamic products in business. He equally believes the SGIE report presented today, as conducted by the Nara standard, remains indeed a very veritable reference for all investors in halal product and services. My governor brings strongly providing alternative financing for projects in the state. He has initiated strategic innovative policies that will encourage the state to find finances and improve on the development of infrastructure. I recently set up a company known as GROCO, meaning Gombe Revenue Optimization Company. This is essential to take off all infrastructure and services that are revenue yielding into a company to provide a platform for them to be sustainably maintained. He has also come up with a new idea of establishing an industrial park. As we all know, we have the DIEDC corridor, and is always appreciative of the support and encouragement he received from the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, who was helping him in building up the capacities of the irrigation area. This industrial park will provide land and services for new companies that wish to invest in agriculture-related products. These are the formats, and the platforms that will give the state a new vista in coming up and developing companies and industries that will take off and give our people employment. We therefore wish to congratulate the management and board of Halal, Dar al-Halal, coming up and successfully hosting this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The representative of the Executive Governor of Gombe State, Architect Yakubu Yunusa. Dar al-Halal Nigeria Limited is one new vista that I think, if well exploited, is going to give our youth a lot of working opportunities. Now we have time for the panelists. But before then, I'd like to recognize Olayinka Abdul Karim Sanusi, SA to the Honorable Minister, Industry, Trade and Investments. He's also going to give us a goodwill message before the panel is set.
Assalamu alaikum. Your Excellencies, representing the Honorable Ministers and Ministers present here, Royal Highness, industry captains, financial experts, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here today to represent the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who is unavoidably absent due to the National Economic Summit Group event. It is a pleasure and honor to witness the launching of the 8th edition of the State of the Global Islamic Economy Report 2020, a yearly event held to discuss the various business opportunities in various sectors of the global Islamic economy. I wish to congratulate the HAL Nigeria Limited, collaborating with DINA Standard to host the first Nigeria-specific State of the Global Islamic Economic event. This further underscores the commitment of developing the various sectors and support the Nigerian industrialization agenda. Across the globe, awareness about the concept of Allah is growing, and companies are responding to consumer needs, be it for products and services. In Nigeria, Islamic financing and takaful is gaining momentum, with various products being offered by Jaiz Bank PLC. Majority and Muslim minority countries are recognizing the segment's potential, with banks becoming fully fledged Islamic institutions and government encouraging Islamic finance to improve financial inclusion. Also, the issuance of Sukuk bonds continues to grow, as the federal government, through the Debt Management Office, recently issued a third tranche of the sovereign Sukuk bond. This followed the 100 billion naira debt issuance in September 2017 and another 100 billion naira in December 2018. I would like to also mention that at my ministry, provisions for grants to revalidate this cotton textile garment policy was gotten from Islamic Development Bank, which is in the sum of about $300,000. As you are all aware, President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, has set the vision of building a thriving and sustainable economy to generate wealth, create jobs, and alleviate poverty. My ministry, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, has remained a crucial agency and continues to play a central role in the fulfillment of this vision, which focus on driving backward integration and increasingly domesticating production of key products, especially sugar, palm oil, cotton, textiles and garments, automobiles, and cassava starch. Also, we are revamping 2 brownfield special economic zones, SEZs, while commencing work on developing 4 additional greenfield sites across the country. This is to promote production, enable information sharing, and address the infrastructural challenges faced by businesses in various sectors. On creating an enabling environment and promoting investment into the country, we have commenced the review of Nigeria's investment policy to promote investment that meets the country's economic development objectives within the pillars of a responsible, inclusive, balanced, and sustainable policy framework. To boost the development and growth of MSMEs, being an engine of economic growth, we have developed a draft of the national policy on MSMEs outlining key strategies and programs for development of MSMEs. This is a joyful occasion and a testament to the fact that even though we have a long way to go, we are heading in the right direction of attaining our goals of building a thriving and sustainable economy. On this note, I'm most delighted to be part of this event and look forward to suggestions from the deliberations today. Thank you very much. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. That was Olayinka Abdulkarim Sanusi, SA to the Honorable Minister, Industry, Trade and Investment. Now the panelists are here. We have Hamid Joda, Founder, Chief Operating Officer, Taj Bank Limited. Okay. We have Tayo Ajayi. We have Tajuddin Dantata, the panelist, and Alhaji Nahiru Adu. We'll have at least 10 to 15 minutes of this panel. And I am your moderator, Medina Daudanadar. Good morning, everyone. I think I'd like to start with Alhaji Nahiru Adu first. How can Nigeria become a leader of the Islamic economy in Africa?
His Royal Highness HRH Kazaure, Honorable Minister Present, and representatives of the Honorable Ministers, the representative of His Excellency the Governor of Gombe, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my brother, Halal Economy, my old friend, and all courses observed. I was called upon to be a panelist barely 30 minutes ago, so please pardon my inadequacies in this area. I thought I was going to be one of the members in the general public. Now, the question how Nigeria can position itself as a global leader in the Islamic economy, we have to look at the Nigerian economy at large. If indeed Muslim Nigeria is a country, it will rank among the largest countries in the world in terms of population. On the other hand as well, if indeed Muslim Nigeria is a country, it will rank among the poorest countries in the world. Quite an issue to be addressed. And on the global index for the state of global Islamic economy, Nigeria did make it barely by a hair's breadth, assisted by the Islamic banking, Islamic finance, rather than any other issue. We could rank pretty high in terms of consumption because we do have the population, despite the fact that we have very low purchasing power. I believe this state of affairs will not abate until we as a country recognize the fact that we are at the wrong end of the stick in terms of value addition. Any country that exports raw materials and imports finished products will of course remain poor. Any country that uses know-how to convert raw materials into finished products will rank among the richest countries in the world. A lot of our emphasis has always been, we have such and such raw materials, we can export such and such raw materials. Kudos to the efforts of our governments in driving exports, but without genuine manufacturing, we'll continue exporting cheap products and importing expensive products. I'd like to give an example. If you take a typical car that is maybe $50,000. Most of us drove cars like that, and they're all on our roads. Japan will make a Toyota Prado with $500 worth of raw materials and sell it for $50,000. Now they will make 100 cars for the raw material or for the sale of one single Toyota. Keep 99 cars and export one car for all the raw materials. Now that is the gross negative economic value addition. If you look at the richer countries of the world, if you look at richer societies of the world, from Egypt in the days of the pharaohs to today America and Japan and China, you'll realize that their energy consumption is always equated to progress. Energy is always equated to civilization. And when we talk of robust economies here, we're talking of civilization in a sense. The energy consumption of Islamic Nigeria will be among the poorest or the least in the world. Islamic Nigeria has been deprived of energy for the last 30, 40 years, despite Nigeria being an exporter of energy, a net exporter of raw material for energy. If you look at per capita consumption of energy in Nigeria as a whole, it runs lower than Ghana. So in a sense, our civilization is lower than that of Ghana. If you look at Islamic Nigeria, it's even more abysmal. So I believe for us to position ourselves as a leader, not just aided by the noble efforts of banks in the Global Islamic Economy Index, we have to turn our society into a manufacturing society. How do we do that? As Muslims, I believe we have strong networks that have existed for hundreds of years, or probably even 1,000 years in some instances. We have our masjids, we have our mosques. I usually listen to Friday sermons. If it's in English, unfortunately I don't understand Arabic, but quite a few of them are in English today. And in many instances, there is a lot of emphasis on morality, which we welcome. But I also believe if we can add some kind of education to such sermons so that our people will have a change, a cultural re-engineering. We have in our religion the fact that robust economies are seen as, of course, very good. That is why we have Nasir. If you're traveling in search of wealth, you are allowed to make your prayers brief. You are allowed to defy your fasting. But culturally, the mindset of our people is such that aggressive pursuit of economies, of what is called worldly goods, is seen as something almost a sin. Now, without individual efforts in aggressively pursuing economies, or in aggressively pursuing wealth, we will of course not make a scratch in the index of Global Economic Index of Islamic countries. So I believe our secret lies in acquiring know-how, in acquiring the fact that we have to change the attitude. We have to transgress from a traded company, an imported country, to a manufacturing country in line with the rest of the world. Not to ramble too much, I guess I hope the point is taken, and I'll hand over to some other panelists to continue, please.
What Emir of Kazaure said is for Nigeria to possibly become one of the global economies, we have to have our power system working. All our manufacturing textiles must be working. So Nigeria should be part of the Islamic global economy by the time she gets all of that working. Madam Dahiru Adokurawa is the Chairman, Presidential Committee on Trade Malpractices. Okay, we don't have much time, and I would have asked you another question, but let me go to Tajuddin Aminu Dantata. Group Managing Director of Nantata Organizations Limited, and halal food industry. That's an interesting part. What differentiates the Nigerian halal food consumer from any other in the world? Microphone.
Your Royal Highness, the Emir of Kazaure, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Chief of the Governor of Gombe State, representatives of Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. To be sincere, it's a difficult question. Do we have actual halal consumers in Nigeria? We have a large volume of consumers. Whether it is all halal or otherwise, that needs to be addressed. But I know that halal products are a benefit to any nation, any nation's economic development. In the sense that it contributes to the gross domestic product of any country, especially Nigeria, where we have about over 88 million Nigerians. The major concern is that, we don't have certification of halal. We see countries like Malaysia, that is intra-racial, they have a very strong policy in halal certification because they are a large producer of products that supply other countries. So by focusing on making sure that halal certification is there, they have policies and they have companies that are producing halal products. Other countries that are interested in that are not producing it, that want their people to use that, buy from them. Ignorance in terms of even what is halal that we consume. Because a lot of products are imported from non-halal countries using ingredients that make it, non-halal. Unless somebody cares to check and read the label, we get texts from so many different individuals that, avoid this product, avoid that because it has E -- whatever. Nobody, the average Nigerian does not know what that means. So unless he reads it, unless he's aware that that particular number means maybe it's a pig fat or animal product that's been inserted into that product to make it maybe last longer or to add some kind of value to it. They would not be able to know what it is. So other countries of the world, most of their citizens or most of the Muslims that care about halal know about it. The law has to be there to say that, okay, if you wish, there should be a law by assembly to have halal certification. Each company that wants to go into halal certification now goes to that authority to now make sure that we give you the guideline to set up your industry to be halal certified. Because most of countries that would want to buy products from Nigeria need to have that certification.
Okay, let me ask you about your halal food industry. How are you going about this halal food industry, and how can halal certification process and regulations be improved in order to allow Nigerian halal food to be globally competitive?
Well, I can give an example that, Saudi Arabia is one of the largest consumers of meat, sheep, and beef. Nigeria being a large producer, without halal certification, you get requests from these countries that we need goat meat, we need sheep meat. And Saudi Arabia, between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, is just about 4-hour flight. Yet we cannot be able to do that because we don't have a certified, halal certified abattoir that they can send their officials to come and check and make sure that yes, indeed, that abattoir is certified halal and it has the requisite documentations for export. This is what we need to emphasize. This is what we need to make sure that we have in Nigeria. And that policy is what will make it possible. Because without that certification, certainly all the billions that we are hearing today will not be able to attain them unless we put that in force. So there has to be a unit or an authority that visits abattoirs, inspects them, and those that want to go into halal production, give them the guidelines, go through it, and then certify it. There are international authorities that come and inspect those documentations that make that entity halal certified. So this is what we need to emphasize if we wish to partake in this global demand, also opportunity for a lot of income that will come into Nigeria.
On to Hamid Joe, founder and chief executive of Taj Bank. Can we meet you? Tell us more about yourself first before I ask the question.
His Royal Highness, the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, the representative of the Governor of the state, Abdulla, Director of Taj Bank, all protocols duly observed. As I don't think I need to mention my name again since you have several. My name is Abdulla, and I am part of the team that set up Taj Bank because we saw an opportunity in Islamic finance in Nigeria 4 years ago, and we embarked on the journey to set up Taj Bank. With the support of the investors that believed in the idea, one of them is here, Alhamdulillah. Today we have Nigeria's second is Islamic Bank. Now the good news is we also Salam Gateway presentation, where Nigeria has now ranked number 10 in the Islamic finance space globally. So I think that is a big plus.
Number 10 or 13?
No, number 10.
10, okay.
Yes, number 10. So that is a big plus to some of us that have believed in the Islamic finance economy in Nigeria and have invested. Now, Taj Bank is one of the fastest growing banks in Nigeria. So I think it lends credence to the fact that Islamic finance or Islamic banking has significant potential here in Nigeria. Taj Bank so far has been very successful. Today we have 5 branches and we are growing our branch network. Hopefully, inshallah, next year we'll open about 20 or more. Inshallah, today, alhamdulillah, Taj Bank has broken even in terms of profitability. So that also means there are significant potentials in the Nigerian economy as well as the Islamic economy here in Nigeria. So these are major advantages that Islamic finance has over other forms of finance. Now, speaking of Taj Bank, we have, the question is, what does an Islamic bank do? An Islamic bank's business is structured into 4 parts. The first part is the equity part of the business, where you come together sit with the customer, look at the value proposition that the customer has on the table, and share the profit or share the loss of that business at the end of the day. So that is one key thing that we do. Secondly, we have a trade-based model where a bank typically functions like a trading entity. A bank buys a product and sells to its customers. And then we have the lease-based part, where a bank embarks on leasing, buy a product and or machinery or whatever item and leases it to a customer. That is 3. 4, you have the guarantee part, where a bank guarantees, stands as a guarantor on behalf of its customer. And then one unique service that Islamic Bank offers is the agency banking model, where a bank can serve as an agent on behalf of its customers. So this is what Taj Bank does, and alhamdulillah, it has been very successful so far.
Okay. There's an abundance of small businesses in Nigeria, as you rightly mentioned, which operate in the Islamic economy sectors. What are the challenges these businesses face in scaling up their operations?
Thank you very much. Thank you once again. To talk about the SMEs is to talk about the economy. In Nigeria today, the SMEs provide 60% of the jobs in the economy. The economy is the SME sector is the major driver of the Nigerian economy. Even in developed countries, even in the United States, the SMEs are the major drivers. They are the ones that create the jobs. So a lot of emphasis and attention must be given to the SMEs. Now, speaking about the Islamic economy, where we have a lot of SMEs, there are so many players. You will have, for instance, a number of players in fashion. You have them in travel and tourism, because there are so many companies that offer Hajj and Umrah services. This is strictly Islamic based. So there are so many of them. But the fundamental question is, why are they unable to scale? This is the question. And this is a question personally I've been asking myself over several decades in banking. And one thing we have found out is the lack of structure of the businesses. Today, as a banker, before you take a financing decision, you have to consider what we call the C's of credit. The C's of credit are capital, character, condition, capacity. Okay? These are the C's of credit. And if you are analyzing an SME, you find out that the SMEs seldom qualify or seldom meet up to that requirement of the C's of credit, or what we call the risk acceptance criteria. Why? Because they don't have a well-defined structure. Now, all of us are aware that the central bank introduced some novel products through its development finance department, where you can access funding and finance customers through CBN. You access the fund from CBN and finance customers at single digit rate. They just opened the Islamic window, which we are all very happy about. And we have funded a number of companies to develop rice mills. But one major problem is the SMEs. We find it very difficult to take the SMEs to CBN. Why? Because of the structure that these businesses do not have. So I think it's a problem of structure. And I think what is more important, even beyond funding, because for me, I don't think funding is a major problem. Because if you have a bankable proposal and a structured company, a bank will be very, very willing to fund you. Okay, so what is more important that we need to do from the CBN to the government and so on, is for us to help SMEs in terms of capacity building. And that is one of the initiatives that we have in Taj Bank. How do we bring SMEs together and educate them on important issues like bookkeeping, even simple things like bookkeeping and management structure. Discipline is very, very important and is lacking in a lot of SMEs. So people find it hard to separate between their businesses and their family issues and the business itself. So these are the major fundamental issues that we have in getting the SMEs to scale up. So I think we need to come together, the banks, the entire financial industry, and government, to think about how to help the businesses build capacity. I think this way they will be able to scale and meet up with the risk acceptance criteria of banks and access financing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would have loved to continue on and on, honestly, but we're running short of time. Let me come back to Tayo Ajayi, Head of Agriculture Investments and Portfolio Manager at Nigeria Sovereign Investment Agency, NSIA. Now let's meet you, Mr. Tayo Ajayi, first, then the questions can come.
Good morning, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kazaure, the Honorable Minister of Natural Resources, representative of the Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment, representative of His Excellency the Governor of Gombe, fellow panelists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols observed. Okay, so my name, as you rightly said, is Tayo Ajayi. I head agriculture investments for the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, and I manage a portfolio of infrastructure development programs or projects under the Nigeria Infrastructure Fund. The NSIA itself is focused on 5 key areas in terms of infrastructure development: healthcare, road infrastructure, agriculture, gas industrialization, and power. So I predominantly oversee the NSI's investments in agriculture, and I'm also involved in the road development sector. We are focused on creating an environment that really provides opportunities for both people who are interested in local production, but also a conducive environment for investors who are looking to come into the country, provide capital towards development. One of the major issues in terms of encouraging or bringing investment into the country has been stability and what is perceived as risky opportunities by foreign investors. So the NSIA is tasked with ensuring that we have a stable platform, a conducive environment that ensures both our local and foreign investors at least achieve reasonable and acceptable returns on the investments they participate in infrastructure, that is.
All right. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has shown how dependencies on imports can disrupt the supply chain. How can Nigerian businesses start developing a local supply chain?
The simple answer to that is improve local production or increase local production. That's the simple answer. However, to achieve that, there are a number of challenges that we currently face in the industry, particularly agriculture. I would say generally, other panelists touched on the need to focus on improving infrastructure and manufacturing. But if we focus specifically on agriculture in this space, there's a significant need to not only focus on the primary agriculture in terms of farming and cultivation, but there's also a need to focus on the supporting infrastructure, the downstream infrastructure that is required to support farmers. The agriculture sector itself is very segmented. It's largely focused on predominantly small-scale farmers. I believe the agriculture sector is made up of 90% of small-scale farmers. So you have a lot of people who, for example, will farm and have a target production or yield of 10 tons. That is purely because that is all they're able to sell, not necessarily because that is all they can produce. So when you provide the infrastructure required to support their primary agriculture in the form of storage, in the form of silos, in the form of cold storage, in the form of roads, power, logistics, these are different aspects that will increase their own production. And that's on the small-scale farming perspective. If you look at a commercial scale business or operation, a lot of people complain about access to finance, which my colleague Emir of Kazaure has touched on. Access to finance is, for agriculture anyway, something that the government has focused on quite significantly within the last couple of years. The central bank has provided a number of initiatives, CACs, RSSF, single-digit facilities that people can benefit from in the agriculture space. Other things in terms of tax exemptions or reductions in the duties for importing equipment that is used for agriculture. These are the sorts of things that need to happen, and luckily they are happening. However, the pace and scale at which they're happening is not really moving the needle in terms of global production. As the NSI, what we have done is taken a position in terms of developing projects to prove the concept. You have a few people who are actually developing agriculture and growing at scale. I'm happy to say that we are currently harvesting 830 hectares of maize in Nasir State now, which is arguably one of the largest commercial farms in the country. This project actually started off through an investment in a processing business, a business that processes animal feed and poultry feed. Well, we identified very quickly that there is a very significant risk in terms of supply of inputs and the maize required to actually process. So the first thing we did was choose to invest in backward integration, acquire land on a long-term basis, and actually start the farming and cultivation of maize and soybeans, which are inputs for the end product, which is poultry. By doing this, we have significantly reduced our cost of production. For maize specifically, we purchased, for example, maize prior to the farming of maize ourselves at roughly 91,000 naira per ton. This was towards the end of last year. Maize, as of 2 months ago, was 180,000 per ton. So if you consider, small-scale farmers who have to purchase maize, who have to deal with such fluctuations in pricing, quality, and supply, it makes it very difficult. So how, in my opinion, we can increase local production is by improving the methods of farming. We can do so through upskilling our farmers. We can do so through the involvement or inclusion of mechanization. The Honourable Minister of Water Resources touched on what the ministry is doing in terms of irrigation across the country. Specifically mentioned Gurara, which is a project that the NSIA is very aware of, very happy to support. And by giving other commercial farmers, small-scale farmers, these supporting infrastructure, be it storage, be it irrigation, it overall will increase their yield and encourage them to actually expand their operations, with obviously the provision of finance from our colleagues at Touch Bank and at Central Bank.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ajayi. We've heard it from the gurus. We heard it from the horse's mouth. The beautiful news is that the central bank has opened a window, and I do hope that Nigerians would, through you people, professionals, possibly exploit that aspect. And the agricultural aspect as well, as you mentioned, even though we have challenges in the country, gradually we hope that we are going to surmount them. Do we have some journalists in the house left that can possibly ask 1 or 2 questions, please? Any questions? Okay. Wonderfully well, and you gave us all the hope. With Alhaji Adokur, I was present. I know that you're going to write a very good report for your committee, sir, so that things will change for the better. Okay. Now we have come to the climax of this occasion. I'd like to call on Alhaji Muhammad Dikoladan, the Chief Executive Officer of Halal Nigeria Limited, to give us his closing remarks and vote of thanks. A round of applause for him. Are you people speaking?
For attending, and also we say thank you to our online audience. First and foremost, Darul Halal was formed a few months ago after negotiations of partnership with the Demand Standard to bring opportunities and create an enabling platform focused on business rather than policy to drive the Nigerian halal economy forward. So first and foremost, apologies, Your Highness, Honorable Minister, panelists, the distinguished guests, and our audience. So thank you very much to Dinar Standard and the Dubai Center for Islamic Economy. What we are focused on is driving businesses, finding the opportunities, and from the panelists you can see Nigeria has the infrastructure in place, and the government is also ready and willing. So what is left is for the industries and the businesses to identify opportunities and participate in the various market segments and gain market share in the global economy at large. Most importantly, what we want to do is form the right advisory service in conjunction with Dinar Standard and working with industry leaders like NSIA and some of the businesses and the Islamic banks to assist the average businessman and also create a meet and greet opportunity for investors into Nigeria. So a lot has been said. We thank once again Your Highness, Honorable Minister, all the participants, and Dinar Standard. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is the first of its kind in Nigeria, and if we have erred, we crave your indulgence, find it in your heart to forgive us, and hoping that next time is going to be much, much better. I want to congratulate Dar Halal Nigeria Limited for doing a wonderful job. On behalf of everyone here, my colleagues from various media houses, I'd like to say thank you very much, and our other members in Dubai, Dinar Standard, would like to thank you very much for being a part of this wonderful occasion. Dr. Rafiuddin's lecture, the report was very, very elaborate, and it touched on so many aspects. This occasion, we thank you very much for giving us this wonderful story to tell about Nigeria's participation. Thank you for being there. Thank you.